we're in front of our International Loadstar. Sam, what are the top 5 things that you think they should know about before attempting a chassis swap?
Well, there are quite a few things to consider when you're doing a chassis swap, and one of the main things you should consider is, what do you plan to use the vehicle for? First thing is to set a goal and expectation to what you want in the end, and then kind of work backwards from that. So with this particular build, we knew that we wanted something that was serviceable, something that had a newer drivetrain underneath, and something that we could take out on the weekends without spending a lot of money and enjoy. So I think the very basics of what you should know before you start is, what are you going to do with the vehicle?
Number 2.
So now you've decided you do want to do a chassis swap, but what chassis to use? Well, that all depends on a few things. One of those things is there a certain brand that you prefer? Is there something that you're used to working with? Something that, if you're a Chevy guy, maybe you want a Chevy chassis. If you're a Ford guy, maybe it's a Ford chassis. If it doesn't matter to you, then you should go out and try to find the vehicle that is closest in the spec to what you already have. So this truck, for example, we knew that we could use a van chassis underneath. We couldn't really use a Chevy truck chassis without modifying a lot of things because of the length of the front end of this.
Once you've decided on your brand, you really want to have the measurements that exist for that chassis, so you know what to go out and find to start out with.
Yeah,
right?
And there is a lot of information on the internet for measurements. Most new vehicles have like a spec sheet, but it's always good if you can just go somewhere, whether it's a used car dealership or a scrap yard, or you got a friend that has one. Go out there and physically measure it, because the internet's a good source, but it's not always true. Choosing the chassis, choosing the drivetrain is going to be a matter of budget. It's going to be a matter of accessibility, like, are these available? And it'll be a matter of your wheelbase and specifications. So what we did is we took into consideration all of those things, and we found a 2012 Chevy van chassis that was almost the exact specs we needed in order to build this truck. So the next thing that you're going to want to consider when doing your chassis swap is budget. How much is it going to cost? Now, that one, most people think first. Most people think, how much money do I have to spend? And that's their very first thing. I don't put it first. I put it third or fourth even, because budget can change. And I say that because depending on what vehicle you end up buying for your chassis swap, that will determine part of your budget also. So what I like to do is pick all the items, and then I go find a deal on the chassis, go find a deal on the vehicle that you need to buy, go find a deal on your wheels. You can always find something used or something secondhand, or do a trade with somebody, do a little bit of work for it. Maybe you buy a van like we bought, and we stripped all the doors off, we stripped the cabinetry out of the inside, and we sold all of those items individually on Marketplace, which actually paid for the entire van itself. So your budget may have been $2,000 for that vehicle, but if you can make back $1,000 or more on that, your budget just dropped 50%. So I always put budget, in the middle somewhere, because budget can change, and it doesn't always have to go up. Sometimes the budget goes down. So the next major thing to consider is space and time, because those two things are going to be very, very important when it comes to actually getting this finished. A lot of people can tear something apart. It's a whole nother thing to put it back together, especially when you're tearing apart 2 vehicles and making them into one. So you're going to want to consider, where are you going to build it, and how much is it going to take time-wise to get it finished. So you want to put together almost a budget, and the budget is for your time. So break down, individual, I'm going to take 3 days to tear this down, I'm going to take 3 days to tear that down, and then we're going to take however many days to combine it back together. And that should give you a good idea of how long it's going to take to start the project and get it to a drivable state wherever you're working. And I would say that the last thing that you need to consider when doing a chassis swap or any kind of custom build is starting off with something decent. We could have went out on this project and bought a 1970s vehicle to swap this 1967 onto, but what we end up with is old parts and, an old truck in the end. So something to consider is, when you're picking out that chassis, pick a chassis that runs and drives. Pick a chassis that has had service records, because the last thing you want to do is assemble your new truck on your new chassis and find out that it needs all kinds of stuff too.
So overall, those are the top 5 things. Now, they seem kind of basic, but truthfully is you need to start with the basics before you move forward with any project. And it's even more important when you're dealing with multiple different vehicles in order to make one.
That's right. A lot of these projects are obtainable, but starting off with good stuff to begin with will make it much easier in the end, especially if you're not a mechanic. And that's why I put that point as last, because it is something to consider, but also that works into budget. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me walk through those 5 things that you should think about when doing a chassis swap. Obviously, there's a lot more, but if you have any questions or you want to see a chassis swap done, be sure to check out this build if you haven't already on our channel at StealthBuilt. Watch some of the other things that we work through on this build. We have our ups and we have our downs. We started off with an idea that we had to modify, and you can see that through our first video and into the second one. But in the end, this is a really fun project. It's something that just about anybody can do. You know, obviously more tools, the easier it's going to be, but it's not an unattainable project for most people.
Yeah, just do a little bit of research, and again, start with the basics and then work, you know, to the more advanced level on the things that you're going to need in order to achieve it.
I hope you guys like our video. You know, we're trying to do a bunch of videos to help you guys get motivated to do cool stuff. If you're interested and you want some cool swag, don't forget to check out the StealthBuilt.com store that has t-shirts and other things, hats, all kinds of cool swag for StealthBuilt. If you're a supporter of our channel, we do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We're at almost 200,000 subscribers right now at the end of 2025. That's just on YouTube itself. And we're trying to grow this channel so that we can do really, really cool builds for you guys. And the way that we do that is by your shares, your likes, your comments, and your subscriptions. So we do appreciate it. We'll see you on the next video.